there seems to be some concern among shoppers and shopkeepers about the future of our various high streets. Now, I get the impression that the three of you there is some consensus among you about where we stand on all this, so I'm going to ask each of you to talk about a particular high street area, separate from the others. So I think Councillor Chambers, you're going first, and you're going to speak to us about Gillingham and Rainham.
Yes, both centres I know well. Rainham, I was there only at the weekend, and looks that it's quite vibrant and active. And I always judge how successful a centre is by the number of empty retail units there are in a particular centre, and there are very few in Rainham. That doesn't mean that we don't need to keep a close eye to make sure that it continues as the local centre that it is, and serves the community of Rainham and Greater Rainham well. And we did give consideration. We introduced some time ago now to make sure that we always get this criticism about car parking. Well, you have the same in Rainham as you have it in Gillingham, where you get the first half an hour for 30 pence if you want to go in just to the banks or building societies, or pick up something that doesn't take too long. As far as Gillingham is concerned, well, there has been the decline in Gillingham over the years, but I do believe that with the tremendous amount of work that has been started at the railway station, if you like, the gateway to Gillingham High Street, and then you move to the other end with the development of Medway Park and all that will bring to Gillingham High Street. But we've also got the universities and the further education college, and I think there is a good case to be made for Gillingham to develop a niche market, if you like, and offer to cater for this enormous student population we now have in Medway. I think one of the problems that most centres have is that they believe that with empty units standing there, that the council has some control over the owners of those units and what rents they're asking. And what I believe that they should follow the example of the council now in many of its centres where it does hold retail units, that it is much more flexible in its leases and its initial rent levels to actually encourage people to start up businesses and retail businesses within Gillingham. I think it does have a future, but it will take time.
Thank you. Councillor Corbett, you're going to speak about Chatham.
Yeah, I mean, I think where the agreement broadly is that the council's policy, which I support, is that Chatham is designated as the city centre or future city centre of Medway. Historically, it's had the biggest shopping offer, and the idea is to grow that to make it comparable with other conurbations of a similar size to Medway's. Obviously, retail trading climate at the moment is very, very difficult. And it's difficult to see at the moment how we're going to grow the retail offer very easily. The key to unlocking Chatham, in my view, is about the riverside. I mean, what's going to make Chatham attractive to people to come and shop is access to other types of facilities on the riverside, particularly leisure type facilities and things such as that. So I think there is a lot to be done in Chatham. A lot of the infrastructure works has been done. We already talked about the road works there. I'm not convinced that the road infrastructure is still fit for purpose in terms of attracting people in. There are issues and criticisms about car parking charges and whether that is competitive compared to other neighbouring places which have a better retail offer, Maidstone in particular. So I think there are some significant challenges in the current economic climate, but I think the policy is that we have to plough on. The last Labour government put a lot of money into Chatham to try and bring it up to a situation where we could improve the retail offer, and I think it's the council's responsibility to take that mantle on and to move it forward.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Julie, you're going to speak about Rochester and Strood.
I will start with Strood. The challenge, I think, for Strood is the traffic management in the area, and also the fact that there's lots of new businesses coming, like Morrison's and Tesco's expanding next. so the bigger business on the industrial side seem to be growing. But if you go into the old high street, a lot of the small businesses there seem to be closing down, particularly any businesses that operates after 7 o'clock at night, in the pubs and restaurants. And this seems to be a combination of the recession and also rent and rate increases in the area. Unfortunately, the council has very little control over either. They're actually done through pension funds and other organisations. So it's really, I think, government legislation needs to change in that area. In Rochester, it's a high street which has gone through a number of changes over the years, and I actually used to help manage a business in Rochester High Street. And everybody goes on about Dickens, but the most festival that I found most profitable was actually the Sweeps Festival, because it was over 4 or 5 days. The customers were there for a long time, and they came back and were repeat customers from the business I was managing. So I do think there is possibilities in Rochester, but one of the big problems I see in Rochester is the night crime economy has to work in with the residents who live there, and the other businesses are there. But I believe Rochester is a problem of its own success, is that the rents again are going up there, which are unsustainable for small local businesses to keep a hand on.